Thursday is behind us as we close in on week 2 of 75 Hard and day 91 of this entire fitness challenge as a whole, and we are doing great so far. But before we get into today what that all looked like, hello, my name is Ian. Welcome into the Transformation Series. If you're new here, this series we go over food, workouts, pretty much everything to cover on a transformation series, on a transformation journey, weight loss, mental health, whatever it may be. I'll talk on whatever I'm feeling that day, as well as just the general happenings throughout the day and get into my mind of what this transformation looks like. So if you're on a transformation journey of your own, or if you're just generally interested in how it feels to be on something like this, you get a little insight from me. But yeah, today was push day. Today was a really good day. It was a Thursday. Granted, work went really long, but we'll get into all that in just a second. So starting off in the morning, my sleep schedule is gone. For anybody who doesn't know, my work usually goes a little later. That is especially true for today, but that traditionally means I go to bed later and I wake up later in the day, which isn't great, especially something I'm trying to work on and fix, but we'll get there when we get there. At the time I'm recording this, it is almost 2:30 in the morning and I got to get my butt to bed, but it's a part of my transformation series to make sure I'm doing these, to hold myself accountable and make sure that I am doing everything I need to be doing in my own mind, so I can keep myself, like I said, accountable for this journey. But yeah, I was out of bed around 10:30, 11 this morning, which isn't terrible, but it's not great as well. Just not been able to get to sleep early this week. Had a lot of late nights. Today is no different. So yeah, woke up and started out the day with a little work from home, a couple meetings, and then into the gym for push day. Had a really good push day today. Really starting to get the weight up a little bit, and that is something I've been striving towards. I mean, the whole goal of this is to lose fat, build muscle. Granted, building muscle is going to have to wait a little bit. I'm not going to be able to build a lot of muscle until I lose all this fat because caloric deficits, I can't be loading on as much protein as I'd like to, but making sure I'm keeping a set protein amount to make sure I'm not losing any muscle. But yeah, like I said, push day today. Started off the day. I usually start with a pec deck. That was taken immediately, so I started off with a incline dumbbell chest press for the day, moving up to the 42.5-pound dumbbells. I progressively started out around 25 to 30 at the start of this journey and happy that we made it up. This was an increase from last push day, which was sitting at the 40-pound dumbbells, and I think next push day I can even move up to the 45s. I've been feeling really strong on those workouts, so really happy with how those have been looking. A little rule for myself when it comes to weights and going up in weight. My trick is if I can do 5 sets of 10 reps, that is my neutral. That means I'm comfortable with that weight and I can do that weight. That is the weight I'm at. If I can do 5 sets with 12 reps, that means I'm ready to move up in weight. If I'm doing 5 sets at 8 reps, that means I'm just introducing myself to that weight and getting going with it. So that's pretty much how I judge it, and I've been comfortably doing 5 sets of 10 reps. Next push day will probably be 5 sets, 12 reps, and then if that goes all good, we'll probably move up the weight a little bit and start building on that. I feel like that's a really good system for me. It works really well with making sure I'm getting the weight up. Granted, some workouts are harder to get weight up, and I'll touch on those in a second. Immediately after the incline dumbbell press, I moved over to a shoulder press. Dumbbells again. Now, I don't know if this is just me, but my shoulders feel drastically weaker than my chest. I can get like between 25s and 30s up doing a shoulder press. Granted, I make sure I do mine really slow, get the full range of motion, come down and stop. I like taking a pause at the bottom of my reps just because that allows me to get the full range of motion and make sure I'm still feeling a little bit. And I could probably go up a little more in weight if I did like a little faster of reps, but this style just helps me make sure I'm getting a slow, nice controlled rep. So we'll see, what progression looks like with those, but I'm sitting around the 25s or 30s depending on the day and how we're hitting those. So yeah, after that immediately went over to the pec deck. Now, I usually do 2 workouts per muscle group, and I try not to do them back to back, hence why I want chest, shoulders, chest. On a push day, triceps are also included, but what I find is when I hit triceps, my next workouts for chest and shoulders can be really weak, so make sure I get my chest off first before I hit triceps. So moved over to the pec deck and hit those reps out. Really good on those, 110 to 130 pounds on that depending on the day. Today was a little lower because I didn't start with it. So my chest and shoulders were already tired from the previous movements. So yeah, after that, moving over to triceps, did a double rope pushdown with just normal cable rope, and then did shoulder lat raises. lat raises, I think is a technical term. I'm not too technical with things. Just normal cable lat raises, but they do tend to hit my shoulders and rear delts really hard, so I enjoyed that. And then ended off the weights for today with a single arm tricep push down. I've done skull crushers, I've done um, cable skull crushers and stuff like that. I've done overhead triceps, but I tend to use the cables mostly because I feel like I get the best movement on those. Second to that would be probably an easy bar skull crusher, but I don't know. I don't love that as much. It doesn't hit as well for me. So that closed out our weightlifting for today. But after that, I usually have another hour left in the gym. So today was half an hour of cardio, 7.5 incline, 2.5 speed is my go-to as always. Make sure I'm burning as many calories as possible. I usually burn like 200 to 300 on that over half an hour and get my steps in. And then after that, sit in the sauna for 15 to 30 minutes. Today was on the shorter end of that because I had to take a shower and get into work again, and was at work for the rest of the day up until 11. Yeah, I got done with work at 11, and that was long day. Fun day, but yeah, long. So then ended up getting home, relaxing for a little bit, made myself some food. I'll touch on food after I go through the day because I realized I forgot to touch on it earlier, but made myself some food and then sat down, relaxed for a little bit, and then I'm doing 75 hard, had to get my second workout of the day in. Now, I don't classify day of 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. I count it from when I wake up to when I go to bed. That is what I classify as my day, because without that, fitting in two 45-minute workouts just isn't easy for me. So did my second workout, which is a 45-minute walk around the apartment complex, walk/jog. Did a little jogging in there, but not too much. Today, I was really tired and just wasn't feeling it. So still got the walk in, and that ended up being more like 55 minutes. And look at the step counter. Got roughly 6,000 steps in throughout that workout. So 10,000 on the day, roughly, including the 30 minutes from earlier, which is not a hard goal I set for myself, but something I still want to work towards throughout the day. So really happy with our progress there. So yeah, that was today's work and workouts, but moving on to food, which I forgot to mention earlier in the day. So pretty much I ate the same thing today in both my meals. I had 2 eggs, half a cup of egg whites, a little bit of cheese in there, and then a serving of protein pancakes, because I'm pretty much out of food in the apartment, and that is as high of a protein meal as I can make with what I have in the fridge. So ended up having that for my meals. I'll probably be doing that again tomorrow morning before the gym and everything, because I got to get groceries. But yeah, so pretty much doubled that meal today. For dinner, doubled up the servings of the protein pancakes. All in all, I hit between 1,000 and 1,200 calories today, which isn't a lot of calories, but it was very heavy in protein. I don't have the numbers on the top of my head. I didn't put them in to MyFitnessPal yet today, but 2 eggs, half a cup of egg whites, a lot of protein in there. One serving of protein pancakes is like 15 calories. 15, not calories, sorry, grams of protein. So overall, hit a really good amount of protein throughout the day for a really low calorie amount, which I'm happy with. Granted, calories could have been kept down a little bit if I didn't put the cheese in the eggs, but I don't like eggs by themselves. So I throw a little bit of cheese in there as a little cheat. Adds a little bit on the calorie count, but helps me get the food down a little easier, and sometimes that's just what you got to do. So yeah, that was all in all what today looked like in terms of food and all that. But overall, man, I really just want to fix my sleep schedule, but it's hard when I have days like this because I get home at 11 o'clock. I still have to do another workout. I'm not complaining about this, by the way. It's just the way it is. It's the way my schedule was put out. It's the way it's been for a little bit, so I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to talk it through and how I want to change things moving forward. So I'd like to be waking up earlier, getting that workout in earlier in terms of gym. I'd like to be getting in between 8 and 10 a.m. and then getting that out and then having the rest of my day to get my workout before I come home, just at work if I can take a little bit off, which I do have the freedom to be a lot more flexible with my time because I still get my work done. I don't work a traditional 9 to 5, so there is that. But yeah, just making sure that I could have that time because when I get home, I want to relax and wind down a little bit. I just was at work. I did a lot through the day. I need some me time, and that is either play some games with some friends, sit and watch a video, make some food, do a little meditation, or just relax and read my book, which I still have to do tonight, and that is going to take another 20 minutes before I go to bed. So all in all, just making sure I have that time to decompress after I get home. Granted, I've only been home for a little over 3 hours tonight, which for anybody who works like a 9 to 5 or anything, say you're going to bed at like 10 or 11, you have 5-6 hours to relax. Granted, if you have kids and whatever, obviously that's not a thing. But for me, I have nothing of that to worry about. So that's just a mental thing for me of trying to fix my schedule and get better on that, which I feel like it will be soon. The later nights are going to go away. Granted, I do have some trips coming up that are going to have later nights in them. But overall, just making sure I can get a little bit better on my sleep, and overall that helps build up some better habits for me rather than what I'm at right now. Because like last night, I was in bed at 3 a.m., lights off, trying to sleep, and it took me like an hour and a half to go to sleep. It's just like that's been something that's been happening. It's just because I don't have enough time to like wind myself down at night without worrying about, oh, now it's 4 a.m., what the heck, and how I have to figure out the next day and my schedule there and wake up early and not get as much sleep. But I don't know. It's all a situation, but I'm not going to yaver on for that too much. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap things up here. I'm saying a lot. I'm just tired. Apologies for that. But thank you so much for the support on the videos. Thank you so much for the support on the channel. The comments, interacting, you guys have been amazing to talk about on your own journeys, on going through your own things in life, and the series has been inspirational for some people, or that you found interest in a couple of these topics. That's really awesome to me, so thank you so much for the support, and thank you for watching. But that'll wrap it up for today. And as always, moving forward, be better tomorrow. Make a better version of yourself. Make steps between today and tomorrow. Make decisions. Make things happen. Just do things that are going to make tomorrow you happy with the progress you have made up to that point. And as always, I will see you in the next video.